Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with Lindsay Bjorklund. Today is Ask Me Anything. This is where we take questions from you all on what's going on, how to build your cleaning company, and just give you guys the feedback, hopefully you know and love. Today, I think we've got a theme building, but I'll let Lindsay jump in with the first question.
All right, cool. So someone in the Facebook group asked, I always hired solo, but lately a girl asked me to put her in a group to clean. What is your take on hiring solo cleaners versus a group to clean a home?
I love that. So one of the big themes that we teach for our clients is how to create a company that you actually like, that you actually enjoy, that's not enslaving you, but kind of gives you the freedom that you want. Most of us kind of come in for time and money. Like we want some freedom, both for time and money. And then 6 months, God forbid, 6 years down the road, we're like, I'm working harder than ever. And I think I'm making less money, right? It just stinks. So to answer that question, let's just kind of back up to the overreaching concept of we want freedom of time and money, right? So we want to enjoy, in the time we do spend with the business, we want to enjoy it, right? Because other people might be different, but I'm the kind of guy, I'm like, I don't mind working 40, even 50 hours a week. If it's something I love, I'd actually prefer that over working 20 hours a week of something I hate. So we can certainly help with the systematizing and working less. But today, let's just talk about enjoying the time that you spend. So that really trickles down to pretty much all the time that we spend in our companies with the people, right? And the people are generally the employees and the customers, some vendors in there, but that's generally it. So, and of those people that we spend time with, oftentimes our team is the bulk of that, right? And also, if there's something's going to go wrong, they're the ones that are really going to make it sting. So philosophically, when it comes to the team, we want to make sure that we're hiring people that, this is why we start with the core values, right? For us, it's have fun, make money, be real, and help out. So instead of me trying to find Lindsay, who doesn't really care about helping others, money's not important to her, and she doesn't like fun, she's just super professional, and trying to beat her into submission, like, you will be having fun, woman, and you're going to make some gut dang money. Like, I could try that. I don't think I'd like it. I'm pretty sure Lindsay wouldn't like it. And I'm wildly confident it wouldn't be effective, right? So we've got to make sure we got core values match, that Lindsay's out living her life, having fun, making money, being real, and helping out. I'm like, hey, I like having fun, making money. Maybe we could do that together for like this common goal of helping these owners of cleaning companies. What do you think? It's like, that suits me fine. So when we've got owners, we've got cleaning company, golly, I can't speak today. When we are hiring cleaners, typically we start off with just really, we're cleaning ourselves, desperate for cleaners. So the standards are, will you just show up and not steal anything? Like, it's pretty just low, right? But once you get some systems and processes in place that can get you more qualified applicants than you can handle, and you can start making a little more like, well, hold on, I can pick from a lot of people. I don't have to say yes to anyone that can fog a mirror. I can actually have some gosh darn standards. Those standards would be the core values. And when we get to, what was the name of the gal who asked the question?
It was just someone in the Facebook group. I didn't get a name.
All right. We'll call her Lindsay, because you asked it to me. So as of now, you asked the question, Lindsay. When Lindsay asked the question, I've got someone that wants to clean as a team, and I'm assuming that means like they have a spouse or a friend or something like that. What they're really saying is, I'd like to not work with anyone else on the team, so again, the reason I'm going so deep on this is just a superficial answer is, I don't know, look at your structure. And if they've got, their own, why is that? Can you do it? And can your scheduling systems accommodate, and blah, 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 blah. Fine. But I don't know enough about your business to, I know I wouldn't set up a systems that would tolerate that kind of nonsense. But aside from the logistical, I just want to go like, what makes you ask that question? Like, I couldn't imagine Lindsay coming in and going, hey, I want to be a part of this, but I'd like not to speak with the other people, or solely not work with them. I'd be like, golly, that's not really the kind of thing I want, right? So short answer to your short question, Lindsay, is I'm going to let that one go, not just because the easy, obvious of like, it's going to be a little extra level of administration to accommodate this person's needs, but just because I'm like, is that the person I want on my team, and to kind of go to battle with, because we're going to have good days and bad days and things are going to go wrong. And it's easy. You know, Lindsay and everyone gets along when everything's great. Like we talk about my 9-year-old's like a perfect delight when he gets everything he wants exactly when he wants it. But when he doesn't, you know, he can be a terror, right? So I don't want to worry about hiring this person when everything goes right, which is how we think about it. Well, here's how we could make it and it could work and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go, when do things go wrong, right? When Lindsay and I, something goes wrong in the business, there's a pain in the butt. She's the kind of person I'm like, let's sort this out together, girl. Like, I'm not going to worry about her being negative or just if I'm like, God dang it, it's Lindsay generally. And then we have to solve a problem. Like, oh, forget it. I just want to do my own. So long story short, that's not something I would take, but I wanted to make sure you got the why, because there's really 2 levels. There's a logistical, like, does it make sense? Is it going to help scale the business? Can you accommodate on the scheduling side? The answer is I generally wouldn't have a system that would accommodate for that kind of, I want this and I want that, and only Tuesdays and only this and only when the sun's out and only when, you know, I'm not looking for that from a logistical standpoint, but just from a enjoying and really both of them come back to how do you want to experience the business? And if you've got a bunch of team members or cleaners are like, I want it this way, I don't want it that way, and you're not really kind of going for the team globally, that's not going to be great. And then if you're constantly feeling like you have to dance with the schedule, like, okay, I can't do this now, Lindsay's got this and it's a full moon tonight so she can't work, and this one's got that, he called out, that's just going to be a miserable experience. So the big thing I want to give our fine question asker is not just, no, don't hire that person. It's step back and really have a picture and a vision in your mind of how you want to experience your business. And what rules, so that would be the goal. Like, what do I, first thing we do, if Lindsay's like, hey, I got a new card game I want to tell you, the first thing I'm going to ask is, well, how do you win? Right? Like, do I have to get all the cards or all the points, or like, what's the point? And then the next thing is, what are the rules? Right? Like, then we can play until we have that. Like, I'm just playing my game, she's playing hers. It's not going to be any fun. So the what do you win is, you got to decide, how do I want to feel about the business? What kind of profit do I want to make? What kind of time do I want to spend in it? And when I'm spending that time, what does it feel like? That's what we want to answer first, and that'll trickle down to decisions on our hiring. And then the rules we play by are the core values: have fun, make money, be real, help out. And if Lindsay plays that 2s mean this, and I play that 2s mean something different, we're just different rules are going to have a different outcome. We're not going to be able to play nicely together. All right. What did I miss, or what did you have to add on that one, Lindsay, before we go on to number 2?
I just wanted to note that you went a different direction than I expected, which is totally makes sense now that I read the question again. But I read it as she was hiring, but the person asked not to clean on their own. Like, they just wanted to clean with someone else, like anyone else. And what was your take on cleaning solo in a house, allowing that versus, hey, let's put a group of you in the house to clean?
Actually, I like that question a lot, because the first question I answered, whether it was the one that Lindsay, and you were the one technically asking it, so I'm going to just say I was wrong, because whatever you meant to ask was the question. So I like the question that I thought I was answering was pretty black and white, right? I just didn't think it was going to be a fit globally. I like what you followed up with, because now it's like, all right, hold on, that's a little more gray, right? So I'm really going to look at the attitude of the person. And if it's a lady and she's like, I'm just uncomfortable being, if it's commercial in a building alone at night, or residential, like, I just don't want to go. I don't know who's in that house. I'm not seeing that as like, have fun, make money, be real, and help out. Like, I don't think it's fun to be scared of your job. Like, that's not good. Be real. I appreciate her coming to me, as opposed to just being like, I'll just go here and be miserable, help out. I don't know that it's pro or con helping out. Could be like, I just want to be with other people. I don't want to do it by myself, which is, so I don't think it's violating or exemplifying that core value.
Neutral.
Again, yeah, it's neutral. It's appropriate. Every question isn't going to, every core value is not going to apply to every question, but you just don't want to violate any of the core values with any questions. So there's nothing that would trigger me from a core values match, or from a like, oh, this isn't going to be a pleasant person to work with, because it's a reasonable request. And, by the way, on a separate level, we coach teams anyway for a lot of the reasons, safety, security, also from stealing, right? If I don't want any of my people to get hurt when they're on site, 2 people there is going to make everyone feel a little more comfortable and safe. And then vice versa. If I want to steal something and I'm by myself, that's a different kettle of fish, and it's Lindsay and I, right? And even if something does go missing, now there's 2 people, there's a lot. So we would coach from a tactical standpoint to have 2 people there anyway. I guess I'd really want to ask, the one follow-up question I've asked is, I don't want to clean by myself. Cool, we'll schedule with a partner, but just so you know, people don't show up sometimes. Like, that's how it is, or they get sick, or whatever the case is. So we're never going to intentionally schedule you by yourself. But what would you, how would you like to move forward if someone doesn't show up? And if it's a very selfish, not have fun, not help out, not make money answer, that's going to be a red flag. But more again, because it's more indicative of who she is, not because of the thing that she wanted. And if her answer is, well, I'm a little uncomfortable, I'd like not to, I'd like to, if you could at least try, of course I'll do the job, and I'll do the best I can. If it's an answer where I'm seeing her being super reasonable, we're good. So again, yeah, really good question, because it pushed in, the first one was, I thought, kind of obvious in terms of, if I want to live the life that I want, would I take this person? But the second question was like, man, I really had to think about it. So nicely done making me work for a living out here.
All right. Next up, we had Juliana. She said, what is a good bonus structure for employees?
That's a good one. So I feel like we got a bit of a theme developing with kind of living the life that we want to live. When it comes to bonuses, a lot of times and I'll put it under the bigger category of pay increase or more pay. Because the bonuses, this isn't a big deal. We can talk about that. But how we structure pay is a big deal. And what most people do, what I did is, especially, and again, a lot of this stems from, I'm not used to having more quality cleaners than I can hire. So I kind of let the inmates run the asylum, which again goes back to, because I need Lindsay more than she needs me. She knows she can go get another crappy $18 an hour job tomorrow, but I need her, and she knows it. So, I'm now kind of making requests as opposed to setting standards, right? And when I've hired 10 knuckleheads and spun through them because I don't have a hiring system that works, and Lindsay's my one shining beacon on the hill, right? She's the one employee I love. I tend to want her not to leave, right? And even if she's not perfect, even if she's really only kind of a B- C+ player, but she's the only one that keeps showing up and saying yes and not like stealing it and like not being crazy, I start overvaluing her. And sometimes she feels it and kind of gets a little more, I won't say demanding, but it gets into this weird vibe, which I don't like. And again, this is not the quality of life we're looking for, where I feel like I have to keep throwing money at her just to stay.
Hey, Clean Nation, Mike Campion here. One of my least favorite things about these podcasts are we found that people love the show and they love the information, but when I talk to you guys in person, stuff doesn't get done. People love the podcast, but they don't take any action. If you'd like to actually implement this and get this done in your world, we have a whole team of people that do exactly that. If you go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, you can book a time with either myself personally or one of our teammates to at least help you come up with a plan to actually implement and change your life. So if you want to go from getting these good ideas in your head to getting them in your life, just book a free call with myself or my team, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, and we can go from this one-to-many format to one-to-one and really get you some results. Excited to talk.
Yeah.
Again, that's really emblematic of the lack of a hiring process. Not, it's not Lindsay's fault. Like anyone kind of be like, hey, because it's pressure on her. She's like, hey, I see a bunch of people starting and quitting and I have to train them and then this, and I'm always here for you. Like, she's not a bad person to kind of subconsciously want to maybe even communicate like, hey man, where's, pay up, sucker. So it's not that she's terrible. It's just, the situation I've created for both of us isn't great. Right. Because she probably doesn't want to hold me hostage, but she's also not stupid. She's like, hey, I kind of, I'm stepping up here and I'd like to get paid. So what happens is we default to some scenario where every time a crisis happens or Lindsay comes in and saves the day, I give her a pay raise. That might be every 2 or 3 months, which, sounds like often, but in the cleaning world, that might be, you might have hired 2 or 3 people in that time. And here's Lindsay, still faithful. So say we start her at $16 an hour, and let's just say in our area, because it's obviously different, that's a good wage. And then she's been here a year and a half, 2 years, and she's the only one that's been here. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, thank God for Lindsay. And again, we love Lindsay. We're not discounting her, but what we really need is a hiring system, right? We can't depend on this one human, because Lindsay might never go bad. And they do, by the way. You'll have people that start off great and just go bad, but maybe Lindsay never goes bad. But she decides she wants to start a family and she can't do this anymore. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but she's just as gone, or her husband gets a job somewhere else and they move. Like, lots of ways she could not go bad and it's still our relationship end. And then the likelihood she goes bad ain't zero either. Like, he could start and she'll sneak up on it. Like, she'll just get more and more demanding. And all of a sudden I'm like, who the heck owns this thing? She's kind of like, I feel like I'm working for Lindsay at this point, which is just a yucky feeling. Not that Lindsay's not delightful, but if she's my employee, like, I shouldn't feel like I'm working for her. We should both feel like we're working towards the goal of the company. So all that to say, we just keep paying and paying and paying, right? And now Lindsay's been here a year and a half, 2 years. She's now making $23 an hour. I can't afford that. And the real problem is she comes in and saves the day. It's been 2 months. She's kind of, hey, Mike, it's about that time where like 24 looks good. I'm like, I can't even pay you the 23. And it just puts us in a yucky situation. So what we coach folks to do is, and again, really to maintain the life that we want so it feels good. So it doesn't feel good for me to constantly be like, I'm walking this tightrope, but I need Lindsay and I love Lindsay and I want to give her extra money and show her how much I appreciate her, but I can't afford, I still got to do this. And I can't just be giving her random raises every, like, I don't know. I just gave her one 3 weeks ago, 9 weeks ago. Is that too much? Is that too little? Should be 50 cents, should be adult. Like all that's just not the way I want to live. So the answer, there's really two answers, which believe it or not, don't have a lot to do with pay. I'll tell you how to do the pay, but if you don't solve the other two things, the like exactly how to do the pay ain't going to help you. One, have a hiring system that works, right? If you don't have enough people, if I've got 10 other Lindsays coming behind her who are ready for her job, we've got a proper relationship. I like you here, Lindsay. I hope you stay. But if you don't, that'll be okay, because there'll be another one right behind you, and one behind her, and one behind her, and it'll be fine, right? And it actually feels better for Lindsay, because now she can just, it's almost like, again, I got my 9-year-old, he was younger. He just push and push and push. I'm like, boy, you don't get your act together. I'm going to, we're going to have some words. And he's like, screw you, old man. And guess what? He didn't get his act together. We got some words in his room and he was always shocked. I'm like, what's going on? And, as a dad, I feel bad. I don't want to punish him or yell at him or, make him sit in his room. But shockingly, you'd think afterwards he'd be pissed, and he'd mope for 3.5 minutes. He was so much happier. He just was like, I needed to know dad was in charge, and it wasn't just me. I thought I was in charge, and I'm 4. And in my core, I know I'm not qualified to run my life or any of this stuff. So he never said it, but he was just like happy. And you could just tell he was like, thank you. Someone was in goddamn charge, right? Employees are the same way, right? If they feel like they're running the thing, it doesn't even feel good, right? Like you'll see sometimes women, they're just like beating up on their husbands and bossing them around and whatever. And I was like, I bet you that lady's more unhappy than the husband, right? Not that men can't be that way to women. I'm just looking at it from a male perspective. I think we look at her like, oh, she just must love bossing that guy around and I'm like, I don't think she likes it. I think she liked the husband. I go, hey, cut it out. We're a team. I'm not going to tolerate this. I'm going to treat you with some love, respect. And by God, you're going to treat me with some too. Like, oh, golly, look at this. Who's this sexy man I'm married to? So same thing with, lots of relationships, right? We want to be in relationships where, again, Lindsay knows if I'm like, get the heck out of here. She's like, I got lots of skills. I like it here, but I'll be okay, right? She's not dependent on me, which would make me feel weird, and vice versa, right? She contributes a ton. And if she left, I'd be really sad, but we find someone else. So it's great where Lindsay's like, I'm here because I want to be, and there's no gross, weird, I need you or you need me. It's like, we both just think this is our best option. It works out great. Same with the cleaners. So having a hiring funnel, believe it or not, even the people that are holding you hostage will either leave because they're just addicted to kind of unhealthy relationships, or they'll be like, oh, thank you. I'm glad someone's in charge. I thought it was me and I don't run this company. So it actually, believe it or not, the ones that are bad either leave, which is great, or they shape up, which is great. So really, you need a hiring funnel, and none of this is going to work. So you've got more qualified people, because Lindsay and I cannot operate fair pay if I desperately need her and she doesn't really need me at all. Now let's negotiate pay. I can give you whatever system you want. It ain't going to work for you, right? You need more Lindsays. So Lindsay can just go find another place if it's fine. And it works the other way, by the way. We sometimes will have it on the opposite, where it's like, Lindsay's my sister-in-law and she's really terrible at this, or my best friend from high school, and she's not real good at it, but I can't fire her because no one else will hire her. It's like, so I'm stuck. I have to just pay effectively charity, right? She'll be starved if she has no skills and fine, give her money, but hire someone to do the job. Don't let her do a terrible job and take the money. Give her the money for free and hire someone to do the job she's doing. Okay. So enough ranting, all that to say, we're going to get to how you pay, but without a qualified, systematized, automated hiring system that brings enough people, doesn't matter how your paying can work. Second thing is, whatever your system, it's just got to be a system. We can't have, well, Lindsay's been here. I like Lindsay, or I don't like Lindsay. So her pay is this and that guy is this. And every time I've got a bunch of side deals. Well, Lindsay came in this, so she gets paid this way, and she's a contractor, but Steve comes in now, he's a W-2 and he got paid this, and he kind of and it's just and then Lindsay and Steve talk, and then Steve's pissed, or Lindsay, it's just the whole gosh darn thing doesn't work. So the two kind of rules, give the rules of like how it has to happen, and we'll tell you what we would coach you to do. But you have to have enough employees or it doesn't work, and you have to have a system that just works for everybody. No, I like Lindsay, or I don't like Lindsay, or she's been here. Like, it's just got to be you don't want to be in the position, again, living your life and enjoying your business if every 2 seconds, because as your team grows, you get 20, 30 employees. If you got separate deals, every one of them, if you got 24 employees and everyone just asks for something once a month, every other week you're dealing with a new, I got to figure out pay. And it's just, that is not how you want to spend your life. Even if it was good for your business, it ain't good for you. And shocker, it ain't good for your business either. So the two concepts are have enough people so you can negotiate pay from a position of, I'd like to have you on the team, but I don't need you. And you want them to negotiate from, there's plenty of other jobs I could have, but I'd like this one. Not, I'm going to starve if you don't hire me, and not if I can't hire you, my business is going to go under. You're never going to work out anything equitable with that. So first is you got enough people. Second, you get a system. It's like, hey, Lindsay, we pay X, Y, and Z, boom. And then Steve comes in, X, Y, and Z, boom. And then Bob and Susie, all the people that come in, X, Y, and Z, boom. Doesn't matter if I like you or don't like you. Here's a standard. You all fit it. Everyone feels good. All right, so spend 90% of your time on those two rules. I'll give you the 10% on, it's kind of complex. I'm not going to give the whole training on it, but conceptually, we have quarterly reviews, which is good for lots of reasons. Lindsay, good employees want to know, how am I doing? What's going on? And also that's a good opportunity to look at pay. And the big thing is we pay based, there's a bunch of stuff. Anyway, we pay based on, so the bonus would just be for that quarter. So it's not stacking. So if Lindsay's been here for 6 months, she started at say $18 an hour, and I'll tell you the criterion we use to bonus our people. 3 months later, she's doing really good. So she gets a bonus to $19. And then 3 months after that, the next review, we always have I'll just get into it. So the base pay is going to be 10% above average for your area. The reason we do that is so people are like, well, how do, I'm in New York. How can your system for pay work for, me in New York and, somebody in Oregon or whatever the case may be? We base it on what average pay is in the area. We always coach 10% above average. So I can tell Lindsay, hey, just for working here, you make 10% above the average. Not the top. I'm not saying you make the most of everyone, but whatever the average pay is, we want our people to give 10% because we only hire the best, and you're the best, so you should get paid a little more. Now, on top of that, every quarter, we have a review, and you can earn up to 15% more for that next quarter, but you got to re-earn it every quarter. So, if Lindsay does great this quarter, she gets it for the whole thing until the next review. And if this, the last quarter, she wasn't doing so good, she may not earn that bonus again, right? But we're always going to pay 10% above the average. So all of our team gets somewhere between 10 and 25% above average. For those of you like, how can I afford to pay 25% above average? Well, that's based on criteria and then actually make you money. They have to show up every time on time. They have to get positive reviews, not negative. They have to complete the job within the time or less than is allocated. And they have to be a good core values match. And I promise if they do all four things and earn the full 15%, i.e. a total 25% above average, you'll make more money on the guy or gal making the full bonus than you will on the guy or gal that's only at the 10%. You'll actually prefer, because they go faster, they show up, just all the stuff, they get reviews, like that all makes you money. All right. Woof. I feel like that was a real long answer to a short question, and I don't want to shortchange the next question. So let me wrap up and then I'll let Lindsay give any feedback. The real thing I want to give you guys and gals when it comes to the hiring is hire people you like that really, again, you can ask, and I always use Lindsay because she's here, but we've got employees and Lindsay would say, oh yeah, this is the same relationship between Lindsay and other employees, between me and other employees. I really enjoy seeing them. Like, it's fun, but Lindsay's here, right? It's great. And I like to think that they like seeing each other and me. So that'll fix a lot of stuff. If you get a core values match people and, some of the stuff that I asked Lindsay to do, she's naturally really good at. And some of the stuff she's like, hey, I need a little help and I need a little struggle. It's fine. Worth every second of it, right? But if she's a pain in my neck, even if she's great at everything I asked her to do, but I just didn't want to spend time with her, it's like, I'd rather just train Lindsay in the things, good Lindsay, in the things or core values match Lindsay in the things she's not as great at, than have skills Lindsay be great at everything, but nobody wants to be around. And not just me, there's other humans, right? If I don't like being around her, the likelihood everyone else does is real low, right? So who can she work with? And she can't play nicely and all this good stuff. So the global takeaway, I would encourage you guys and gals, when you're making your hiring decisions, just realize that's going to be one of the biggest levers, if not the biggest lever, probably finances and profitability first, and then who you spend time with second, is how you experience your business. So instead of going with all the logistical stuff, just be like, does this system or process, whether it's pay or hiring Lindsay or not, or how we do anything within the hiring, is that going to create the life that I want and the experience that I want? And if we just want to distill it down, am I going to enjoy working with this person? And if the answer is no, again, maybe Lindsay's got me held hostage. Instead of yelling at Lindsay, I'm going to go, well, I don't enjoy this. Why? Well, because it's not equitable. I desperately need her. She doesn't need me at all. Instead of just being like, well, I'll double down and make myself miserable trying to, dance for Lindsay to make her, not leave. Let me figure out a system to fix that. So if you're not happy with something with your business, don't just be like, that's how businesses are. Get some help, right? There are people out there that have done this over and over. You're talking right now. That's what we do. So reach out to us, reach out to someone else. But just give yourself permission to go, this business is created to serve me, not the other way around. And if I don't like it, something's wrong. And it's okay for me to be like, I want to like this. Not every piece. Don't get me wrong. There are parts of the business that are just a pain in the neck, right? But overall, you should be like, I really like this. This is good. So if you set out to build a business that you love, you'll be a lot closer to getting a business that you love than if you're just like, what's the most effective way? All right, Lindsay, what did I miss? What do you want to say? What do the people need to hear?
All I want to say is amen. You took us to church. That's it. That's all I got.
I don't know if that's what people came for, but we do the best we can with what we got. All right, Clean Nation, thanks for hanging with us. If that was helpful, or you're like, hey, I just need more stuff, or I'm not happy with my business, or I don't enjoy the people I work with, again, reach out. I don't know, Instagram, email us. There's Facebook group, Google Grow My Cleaning Company. We're here. We'd love to help. GrowMyCleaningCompany.com is probably the best place to start. Thanks so much. Talk soon. Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.